It's a sad, sad situation. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. Hey, it's Tom Stevens, your resident psychotherapist from Reaction Therapy, here to break down lyrics to Dax, To Be a Man. We finally get the mega remix. From what I've heard, it's all these people who put in their own verse to Dax's song, and I'm sure thousands of people did it, but he picked a select few, and we get to be able to listen to those today all in one video. Dax, a friend of Reaction Therapy. We have reacted to a lot of his music and even had him on the podcast, so go check that out at Reaction Therapy, a long interview when he got into Dear Alcohol. We also have kind of chatted back and forth and had him in our live stream before when we premiered his video. So I cannot wait for this. Dax, we love you. Thank you for putting out amazing, incredible music. And without further ado. Oh, you want some mental health awareness to the world? Just listen to Dax, To Be a Man mega remix.
I can't hide myself.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road.
Yep.
And they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
This is really one of my favorite songs because, and I got a lot of different comments on this video the last time I did a reaction to it, because I talk a lot about men. I'm hard on men as far as what I expect them to be, but I'm also compassionate and understanding of men's position. So a lot of people look at me and say, yeah, it sounds easy for you, Tom, or that's easy to say. But if we only take one narrative, if men only say, well, it's just always going to be hard, it's always going to be difficult, we're never going to get any credit, we're always just going to have to give and provide and never get anything back, then it's always going to stay that way. Part of it's in picking who you're with and who you're surrounded by and who you're in relationship with. And the other part is being the person you need to be and having the self-confidence inside you to be able to know what you're there to do, the kind of father you're there to be, the kind of husband you're there to be. And if you're in a bad relationship, then it's not healthy. It's not good to be in that. And so you either have to work on that or you have to get out of that if it's really that bad. But I think the overall story he's giving to me is like, it's really hard to know what's inside our bodies and our minds as men and what we go through and how we love and how we want and how we try and how we feel not good enough. So much of men is, am I worth it? Am I capable? Can I do it? And we get into struggles all the time because messages we hear back from our spouses, significant others, bosses, family, and all that is we're not worth it. And so we have to be able to do it. So I think he lays it out pretty well. But you have to be able to see the same struggle goes with women. Like if you said to me, what's childbirth like? I don't know. I mean, I can talk about what I know about it, but I don't really know what it's like to be in that position. Same with men providing and being in relationships where they feel like all they are is taken from.
Too much pressure on my shoulders, it gets tough to be the person bringing in the bread and be the lover that you need for self-care. Yeah, I had to let go. I'd be lying if I told you that it never takes a toll on my mind. I need someone to save me, but I have to be the one who's saving you. When you're exhausted, I'm the shoulder where you mend. Gotta stay strong, what can I do when I can't hide myself?
Yep. This is so good. Verse number 1 here, because he's sitting there with that alcohol. He's holding that glass. Didn't look like he was drinking it. It's like he's contemplating. It's like this struggle is real, man. This is very hard. And sometimes I don't know what to do. And I've just got to keep going. I've got to keep trying. I've got to hang in there, which is for real. Not give up. Voice yourself. I talk about vulnerability, and a lot of guys are like, nope, we can't be vulnerable. Yeah, you can. You can. You just have to know how to do it and who to do it with. But that's why most men don't enter my office, and they'll come down on me as a therapist, mental health person here with, who mental health people are. And don't judge me based on other mental health people you saw. You got to judge me based on having seen me. in an office, but that's why there's mostly women in our field. They don't get the experience with that, with a guy, to be able to talk about guy things. But addiction creeps in all the time here. You know, you get into an addiction because the stress of life comes down on you, the pressure's there, and you don't feel like there's any other way to cope.
Can I do when I can't hide myself?
Sales.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain.
Yep.
What it's like.
So cool, them singing together.
It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Come on.
I know a lot of men don't feel the same, but I don't feel ashamed letting the water fall when my heart's ablaze. Daddy taught me that was how to put a fire out. So when I'm hurting, I don't mind to cry my eyes out. I only have a few examples of a man in my life, and only one who made perfection lifelike. So I try to remember 2 words when I don't know what to do. Don't forget Jesus wept, and brother, so can you.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't think a voice that high would come out of that body. That was so good. And when you hear that, remember 2 things. Jesus wept, shortest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept, 2 words. And so can you. It's okay. Only had a few examples in life of men, quality men. And a lot of people have 0. And there are times I meet people in my office and, you know, going through therapy, which is very intimate, close, connected, and vulnerable. And they're like, this is the only example of a relationship with a man that I've had where I've been able to talk about my feelings and deal with life. You know how healing that is? But what a great, when he looks up and he's like, man, I remember this. I remember that, where the Father is, where the man, the ultimate example in my life is, not being afraid to cry, not being afraid to let his real feelings out in a world where men are taught to hold feelings in. Such a beautiful example here. This was solid.
What to do? Don't forget Jesus wept, and brother, so can you.
I can't hide myself.
Woo!
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
I say it's all in my head, and I guess that makes sense, cause everything I feel, I keep in, cause it's different for men. We talk about our feelings, we're called oversensitive. We're asked to strike a balance, it doesn't exist. So we bottle everything up in our minds. We grow cold, dark and numb as we slowly die. You ever wonder why it's mostly men who commit suicide? We need your why, now we're already there.
I can't hide myself.
You hear the strain in that voice of the reality that I feel that strongly. Like I feel like we are in a trap. And as men, we just have to claw our way through. And no wonder the percentage is higher for men who end their life. It really, because of the pressure and the bottling. He talked about bottling it up. When you bottle up something, it's going to explode. You shake up a Coke can and you open it up, it's going to explode all over the place. So we have to find a way to open up. We have to find a way to share. And music can be that. Remember I say talk it out, write it out, sing it out, dance it out, scream it out, run it out, lift it out, whatever you got to do to get it out of your system. But we can do it if we practice things just like this. Thank you, Dax. And thank you to everybody doing these verses.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
You picked me up when I was broken. You pieced
just stop for a second and the beauty of having a woman in this remix, almost as if she's talking to the man in her life about how difficult it is. I see it. I know it. I feel this too with my wife, that she would say the same thing. I feel it. I know how hard it is. I watch it in you. And you do this at times thanklessly, you just because it's what you do and who you are, which is, by the way, why a woman should have a great man in her life, because I know he's there to do the hard work because he loves me and because he wants the best for me. And I am showing that. She's showing vulnerability by singing these verses to a man. And that shows you that it is possible. It's okay to be vulnerable. How sweet this is. And the words coming from a woman, perfect.
Doesn't show you the same love. You're expecting to do everything on your own. Providing then hide all the feelings that you hold. But your heart is deserving of showing. I see you for who you are. I hope that you know it.
I can't hide myself.
Good.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man.
Sweet.
It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know.
Notice she said, I see you for who you are. I see it. I see it. And it's so critical for women to be able to say that to the man. I know what you're going through. I can see it, because that respect and those words matter so much.
It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
I know we all got decisions to make, but it seems that my decisions cause division. I hate this pride. I break inside, but I cannot cry, cause all I wanna do is provide. I was made for this, I'm a father of 7. My oldest is 20, my youngest 11, and they all gotta eat, so I bury my feelings and stay on my feet like they told me. Gotta be grown, they told me. You're on your own, they told me. We're not alone, they showed me.
I can't hide myself.
So good.
I don't.
So great to see a personal story from somebody. It's like, I'm gonna tell you my story. I'm gonna tell you I'm a father of 7. I gotta get up. I gotta get on my feet and go get to work. And I can't cry. See, he's different than the other verse that was there. That's so cool, seeing different people. It's like I grew up learning I can't cry. I got to hold it in. I got to get up. I got to go do what I got to do. And he's telling his story, but also continuing to put one foot in front of the other. What a cool rap version there of how he described that, his life.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand.
Woo!
I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road.
Yep.
And they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside.
There we go. Come on.
Patiently waited for God to show me signs I need. I'm not the man for the job, all the things I can't be. Put all my feelings aside. I think that I'll be better off when I'm not alive. Fought through depression for years and I try to hide it. Almost put pressure and pulled it, but I decided to give it all that I can. But this what it's like to be a man.
Yeah.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand.
That was the rawest of, like, I've just thought about just ending it. I've thought about pulling it and being done. But this is what it's like to be a man. This is what it's like. Show up. Stand up. Move forward. Keep going. Do what you're there to do. As a father, a husband, a person, a friend, whoever you are. This described it perfectly. Like, I'm trying to figure out where it all makes sense, where God's going to show up in my life, and finally ready to just say, forget it. But I'm not going to forget it. And look at this. He ends up here doing this verse and on a Dax video. Incredibly cool.
Just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside.
they take it for weakness, ain't nothing new. Teaching my son to be mentally stronger, prepare for the battle, he ain't even two. Being a father is lit, but I gotta admit that sometimes I don't know what to do. Provide and protect was the name of the game I was playing for you, and you know that it's true. Unconditional love in reality, but you can't take a look from my view. A lot of my days were blue, but that dog in me, so I fought and you didn't have a clue. When I had it, we had it together, but now we divided, your colors are true. I shouldn't have to ask for no help if you knew I was struggling, I would've did it for you.
I can't hide myself.
Oh, yep.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I...
The hardest rap there so far, describing having, you know, a 2-year-old. And I say it all the time to men, you know, you have to be the example of the kind of husband you want your son to be. And the kind of husband you want your daughters to have. Every day, you got to be able to see that. And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fall down. He's just saying, I've got to be that example. And my son is 2, and I'm trying to show him who we are supposed to be. And sometimes I don't even know. And if I show that I don't know what I'm doing, I'm weak. At least that's what I heard. And that's going to be a vulnerability and a weakness. Therefore, I can't do that with you, because then it's all going to fall apart. So I've got to stay strong. So well said.
I can't explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road.
Yep.
And they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
I'm sorry, I never knew all the things that you go through. I never meant to put your pain aside. Didn't mean to make you need to hide. Those demons in your head, they'll tell you you're less than. But I'm here to tell you that you're more than perfect. And don't let the voices make you think you're worthless, 'cause you're worth it. You've got this.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be.
This was really speaking into men. You know, I'm sorry. Like, very first thing she says brings tears to my eyes, because it expresses it's not about blame. It's about, I want to hear you. I want to see you. I want to recognize you. And she's like, you're more than perfect. You're fine. And I want you to hear that you're worth it. Remember that? We talked about that earlier. You know, capable, worth it. You can do it. You can handle it. You can measure up, that whole thing. And women's core issue many times is value, is treasure, is whether they are precious. And so many times for men, it's about being worth it. And she spoke right into that with those words. Thank you for saying that. Both women, incredible in this video.
It's a lonely road.
Yep.
And they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
It's just a lot I wanna say. To be a man requires you to hide the pain. You find yourself inside a hole you can't get out.
Come on.
You wanna shout. The pain is just unbearable. Oh no, I just wanna cry, be given a hug, and be told everything will be okay. Parang out in the wamuna. It's what you gonna take. I have a family that depends on me. Oh,
I can't hide myself.
Yep.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain.
That was pretty strong. Well, I couldn't believe a voice came out of that body. That was so high and such a sweet pitch. And the main message I hear out of that is sometimes I just want a hug. And us men so many times feel like we can't ask for that. And also we feel like we're just not genuinely given that. And so how much it means just to have that touch, that hug, that embrace that says you're worth it. You matter to me. It means so much. So well said.
What it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road. And they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
wanted someone to lean on, no matter what you're dealing with. I just lost a couple friends to drugs, and when I woke up in the morning, man, I really wasn't feeling it. But I gotta try to bottle the pain, but when they took my son away, I had to try to find a will to live. Put in 5 whole years at the job, then I got laid off, and the news had me feeling sick. I've been drowning in the deep end. Anybody wanna give me a reason? I don't even try to bother with a social life, cause I would rather be alone on the weekends, chilling with my demons. And I try to suppress the depression and need of a blessing, cause I'm really about to lose it all. Just remember that I try to be a man when you lose me, y'all, and I'm gone.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand.
Come on.
I just hope I can explain.
That was so much I couldn't even keep up with it. The literal fastest I've seen. And for him to say the real truth of like, look, I'm getting laid off. I got bad things happening. Dark stuff happens in my life. I've got to keep going. There's no way I can stop and even like make an excuse or think of a reason to blame anybody. I just have to keep going, and how difficult it is as a man to explain that to anybody. Listen to this. Hang on, listen to this.
Cause I would rather be alone on the weekends, chilling with my demons. And I try to suppress the depression and need of a blessing, cause I'm really about to lose it all. Just remember that I try to be a man when you lose me, y'all, and I'm gone.
I can't hide myself.
Just remember, I'm trying to be a man. I'm just trying the best I can. So well said, caveman.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road.
Yep.
And they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
So good. Dax, To Be a Man, mega remix. Thank you to everybody who was in this video. I can tell he spent some time picking out those verses particularly, and number one, because of the voices and the way they presented, but number two, the messages in each one of them, how they touched on so many different things and different parts of what it's like to be a man. And remember, it's not easy being a man, but it's a whole lot harder when you're doing it by yourself. So please reach out. Support groups, therapy is good. Being able to have a mentor, somebody in your life who can be that example and model for you so that you can do that for your children and other young men in life as well. Remember, not real therapy, just Tom break it down lyrics to some Dax. If you want real help, check the links in the description. Give us your comments. Let us know what you think. Never get tired of listening to Dax. Cannot wait. Remember, your mental health matters. So go get some. See you on the next Reaction Therapy.